What's up, everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and last time, we may have committed some more vile atrocities, and we might have gotten a little bit overwhelmed in an encounter over here in which we actually decided to side with some Nilfgaardians. It's interesting because the opponent we were going up against was actually seemingly very similar to some of the opponents that we went up against very early on in Aedirn. I'm thinking, like, the Neckers that we fought over here-ish, somewhat, right here, I think, that we had some trouble with when we first ran into them, and then we had to sort of wait a little bit, power up our deck, and then come back later when we were feeling a little more confident, and then we succeeded. And then we did, of course, end up doing that, but by the time we got into Moulderwood, we then proceeded to revise our deck as we finally got the chance to edit it for the first time since we arrived in Aedirn, and we sort of designed it in a way, kind of, sort of, to work around the Scoia'tael opponents that we were going up against, who were rocking a whole lot of damage, and they were taking out many of our engine cards before we could actually generate value with them, and now suddenly we're going back, in this occasion, against monsters who are less of a damage opponent and more of just they're gonna score a bunch of points and we need to find a way to outscore them. So I think we might kind of need to adjust our deck if we are to succeed in this encounter, unless we get just really lucky with our card draw and what have you, which we could potentially try, but I think it would just be a matter of brute forcing it, and that's not really, I think, what we're looking to do here. But the other thing, in terms of what we actually do want to do in the short term here, is I totally forgot, but I'm pretty sure we have at least one map for treasure that we've not yet picked up. Okay. So, like, where are these things? The Ravens map, wasn't that... Hold on. Wasn't that something that we acquired right around... I thought we got it near this village. Like right on this bridge, I thought. This stone bridge. So I feel like... Oh, hold on. Wait, what? What is this? Is that actually a thing over there? Whatever this is, we definitely have not been there. I feel like that's worth checking. And then just generally speaking, it feels like it has been an eternity since we last got a golden chest somewhere. I think the last one was this here. I guess it wasn't that long ago, but Moulderwood is just huge. For it to only have one chest in it would seem very odd. So I think what we'll do here is we'll go on a little bit of a treasure hunt. We will, for the moment, sidestep this encounter, and we'll put a little bookmark on that and come back to it on a later occasion when our deck is stronger and or just more well-suited for that type of encounter. And let's see, like, might we even want to fast travel here? I mean, I guess if we're trying to check this place out, then why not? Oh, that is how you close the map. This is how you fast travel. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out what the deal is there with that little area. Because I thought that we got the map from... I want to say it was a crow, like, right here-ish. Might have even been on that stump, or possibly directly on this stone bridge like this. But there is definitely an area over there that we've not yet been to. So I'm feeling like we should definitely at least see what that's all about. Maybe that's a place where we can get some kind of loots. Where exactly is it, though? That the entrance? Because that would suggest we're right on top of it right now. There's like a little ledge here. If we go a little bit lower. Is that an entrance? Oh, down. Down. Oh, now we're in business. Now we're in business. Oh, the pumpkin patch. The pumpkin patch, I should have known. I should have known. What is the deal with this dude and his pumpkin patch? I am a little creeped out. This guy seems pretty sus. I do not trust him for even the splittest of seconds, because his apparently best friend is this jack-o'-lantern scarecrow man, and that is not cool. That is extremely creepy. Oh. Alrighty then, hold on. Which one is this? It's gotta, I mean, they're the pumpkins, right? Okay, so it is the Ravens map. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, like I said, I think we got the map to this spot very close by. So, makes sense that the destination for the actual chest would be pretty close. And, obviously, the pumpkin patch. So, good thing we made a point of exploring a little more thoroughly here. That also looks a lot like the letter B, or whatever that's worth. But, let's see what we get here. It has been a long time since we last opened a chest, and it is a Gascon little picture here for Gwent multiplayer, it seems. So that's cool. I mean, admittedly, I was kind of hoping we were going to get some kind of really powerful card that was going to be a total game changer and help us just coast on through the rest of the area, but nah, not this time. Not this time. Still good that we picked it up, though. Let's see, what is the deal with this dude? Because, yeah, he is immensely creepy.
Huntsman's away from hearth and home.
Okay. That didn't make you any less creepy.
Watch out for the acromantula.
What?
Mighty fine pumpkin harvest this year.
Yeah. Sure.
Huntsman's away from hearth and home.
Okay. Let's leave and never come back. Okay, so that was at least one chest that we had not found the solution to. And this... So the Ravens map now has a check mark next to it, so of course we definitely just got that chest. That would suggest that we've not yet gotten this one, and it's been tough in the past whenever we see these markings here. Never been 100% certain when we see them. Is that a river? Is that a dirt path? Hard to say when we don't have any color. So I don't know if this is something that we've already come across and just missed, or if for whatever reason we just haven't come to the location where this chest resides just yet. But I don't even remember when we got this, and so that makes it a little difficult to contextualize. But let's see, if we take a look at our map here, I mean, I feel like, are there any big areas where we did not really spend much time looking for chests? I thought when we were going around in this area as we were first entering Moulderwood that we were somewhat thorough, poking our heads into little corners here and there, seeing if there were any chests. So I feel like I'm reasonably confident that we didn't miss anything here, and I think these question marks are still just those little spike traps. So those are not anything terribly important. This one obviously is the encounter that we plan to come back to on a later occasion. So I feel like, is there something like even further back than this? We did make it all the way to the windmill. I had thought that there might be something special there. I don't really think there was. We have this little area where we still have yet to use the shrine, which might be a little bonus to keep in our back pocket in case we find ourselves on low morale or we just need some kind of boost to complete some kind of encounter, like potentially this one. But other than that, there's a chest here. I mean, if we're getting really clever, you could make the case, well, okay, if there's a chest here, then that probably means there isn't another golden chest anywhere in this general vicinity. And if there's a golden chest over here, then there probably isn't another golden chest anywhere around here either. There's a golden chest here as well. There's a... Wait, what? So let's head over here. So, apparently, there was a golden chest at the beginning that we just missed. I mean, I suppose when we first arrived in Eddard, we were probably very distracted, what with our whole son having totally betrayed us, been kicked out of our home country, state, whatever the technical term for the territory is, and our basically entire deck getting changed. A whole lot of stuff happened. So maybe for that reason, we did not realize that there is in fact a golden chest right here. Okay. I wonder, like, did we... This is like right at the beginning. But when we first arrived, I feel like I remembered seeing Scoia'tael right next to us. I feel like we spawned in right here. It's like maybe we could have seen the very corner of that chest, but I think it is further back than we started, so you would need to backtrack, and I probably just assumed you couldn't even go backwards at all, and yet they were hiding golden chests there all along. How incredibly devious. Well, well, well. You can't fool us. Well, so the thing is, that might be the premium version, the animated version for Eik in multiplayer Gwent, but we would really love to have him in for Thronebreaker. So that feels like a little bit of a slap in the face. Yeah, can we get him back? Does that mean we can get him back in Thronebreaker? I don't think so. Okay, in which case, let's be back on our way. Out of curiosity, I mean, is that the one from this chest? This map? It is not. It doesn't really look like it. Well, I mean... No, I mean, we did have a map for this one. Presumably, it would show the tent here, and that would be a bit more of a giveaway. So, we have that. We still have that other chest that we've not yet found. So, maybe we'll just keep our eyes peeled as we keep on going and see if we happen to come across it. Because, like I said, there's a chance that we just haven't been there yet. Because we were pretty thorough when it came to looking in every nook and corner and what have you to find golden chests, and they only snuck that one past us because it actually required that we go backwards to find it, and they did it at the very beginning when that was not something that was at the top of our mind. So I think what we'll do now in that case is let's fast travel back over into the general Moulderwood area, and suppose that means we'll go here, and rather than going over to the east to check out this point of interest again, I think what we'll do is perhaps we'll just go past where we fought Eldain and out of the woods entirely and see what the deal is over here. And I assume that on a later occasion in Eddern, we'll still have the ability whenever we want to fast travel, yes, to this spot in order to revisit this point of interest whenever we feel like we're in a better position to do so. So I think that's the plan. Okay, so in that case, let's head, I think it's north and west of here. Pretty sure this was the place that led up to where we fought Eldain. Right here with all the ruins, right? Yes, and the dead Scoia'tael, of course, right, naturally. I'm pretty sure we picked up all the loots here, but I imagine that this is the direction you are quote-unquote supposed to go in after you defeat Eldain. It's just a little bit odd. We mentioned at the time how after fighting Eldain, you could kind of go either this way, out of the woods, or over to the east, kind of sort of further into the woods, or in this, like, sort of hybrid village that is not quite in the woods, but is kind of still in the woods. And there were, of course, some encounters that we picked out last time, but we'll go this way. And let's see what we come across. Meve slowed down.
Last. I'd begun to think this wood had no end.
And I thought bandits knew their way around a wood.
We do. Around those not brimming with elves armed to teeth.
I was going to say, Meve was slowing down. I got the sense that we were going to stop for some plot-related stuffs, but yeah, okay, so that is truly the end of the woods there, or at least so I would like to believe. And so, you know, naturally that means we're back to having entire villages set on fire. Lovely. Just lovely. Just absolutely lovely. I am surprised that we can walk on this, to be honest with you. This looks very on fire. Meve, you know, actually, in these situations, I believe the fire is not so much the most dangerous component as much as it's the smoke. I mean, when you're outside, it's less so the case than when you're inside, I think. But either way, we'll look around for some resources here, because we are close to reaching some breaking points. I don't remember if 2,000 wood is important to us, but, I mean, there was, I think, 5,000 crowns was the really big upgrade we were talking about, but anything hiding over here in this little corner? Oh, no? Really? That surprises me. That is a devious little corner over there. very obscure, you would think. You would think something would be hidden there. Okay, we've got stuff here. That is a puzzle. Let's see what we're starting to catch our eyes on here. We've got some loot, a point of interest. We've got a puzzle here. We could definitely check out the puzzle, but I'm kind of intrigued to at least see if we can figure out what this point of interest is, since it seems as though that's in the middle of the village. I would anticipate that that's some kind of encounter with the village people around here. So, let's see if we can figure out... Oh! Well, that looks like a troll of some variety, perhaps? Some kind of ogroid, if you will. So, okay, in a fast travel spot, that's good to know. Now we can more easily go back and forth between over here and over here. And tell you the truth, we covered a lot of ground just making our way back over here. So we may not have that much more stuff to do in Eddern. Obviously there's this sort of upper third, but it may be somewhat sparsely populated with encounters by the looks of things, if the entire place is on fire and what have you. So there's the encounter. There's also a notice board for the town.
The burning fields and orchards spewed thick black smoke, turning day into darkest night. Riding in the middle of her caravan, Meve could see neither its head nor its rear. Reynard ordered the men to keep formation and march in silence.
Eyes open, fore and aft. The foe might well use these conditions to spring a trap.
I hope that is not the case, but we're about to find out.
When a scout's shrill horn cut through the silence, Meve immediately galloped to the front of the column. She found herself in a pile of red-hot coals that had once been peasants' huts.
What the devil happened here?
Bodies lay amid the ashes, barefoot men in nightshirts as if caught in their sleep. Meve deemed them yet more victims of the black-clad invaders, but Gascon had another interpretation.
Oh? I would have assumed it was Nilfgaard. Is it not?
Look at the arrows. Imperial issue. Not hardly. Nor are they the type the Scoia'tael favour.
What?
And the tracks in the mud, the attackers fought not in formation, but man to man. Bandits. It must have been.
Reynard, standing next to him, nodded in agreement.
Gascon can be relied on here. After all, he knows of what he speaks.
An uncomfortable
He's kind of
silence
experienced in that
fell over the
regard.
group, ending only when Meve ordered the scouts to determine the direction of the bandits' tracks. They returned to report the killers were hiding somewhere to the north.
Okay. Odd. I mean, we saw a lot of bandits, of course, back in Lyria, except Lyria had generally seemed as though it was faring a little more well than Eddern certainly is, and you would think that at this stage, Eddern is just... it's overrun by Nilfgaardians, it's been burned to the ground, there perhaps weren't a lot of resources, spare resources to go around to begin with, so it just wasn't very ripe for the picking. So it's a little odd to see that bandits are choosing to raid here when, I mean, there's just not a lot to raid, you would think, but maybe this time they found something good. Okay, so you say they're somewhere to the north, but doesn't it seem as though they are in the immediate vicinity? So naturally that means we're just going to loot all the stuff here in the meantime and see if we can learn anything else. Huh. I mean, it doesn't look good. I can tell you that much. That much I can say with some certainty, but I mean, we can still learn about some stuff here, perhaps. Okay, so we did see this puzzle already. I imagine that might have been something we would have learned about otherwise. Some kind of what seems to be a relatively large fort over there. Then puzzle over here. Point of interest over there in what looks to be some kind of swamp, perhaps. That looks like the kind of place where we... Those look like solar panels? Are those solar panels? Excuse me? Yeah, you see, actually in northern Eddern, it is very well known that they happen to, be 1,000 years in the future, technologically speaking. And so, yeah, that's just kind of what they do there. But, other than that, this little point of interest reminds me a bit of the little villages that we sometimes see overrun by monsters of some variety. So that would be my best guess there as to what that might be. But as I was saying, I mean, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Probably a few more encounters that are yet to be found in this area, but not that much left in Eddern, I don't think. So, take that however you will, but a little more stuff. Pick up here. A lot of gold, actually. So, in that case, I mean, I think we could use a puzzle or two, to be honest with you. Given how did we have any in Moulderwood? Moulderwood felt like it was almost exclusively battles, which was kind of good for generating resources, because we do get bonuses when we complete them, but it meant that we were relying on our own deck, which is not terribly strong, as we've said many times. So puzzles are nice because it usually means that we get a new deck handed to us. Let's see what we have here. Okay, a She-Troll's Fury. She-Troll of Vergen? What it's worth. The multiplayer Gwent version of this card is one of my favorite cards. One of my favorite cards in the game. But I've come across many trolls in my travels. Some were friendly, eager to lend aid. Others, such as the one Meve encountered in war-torn Eddern, viewed humans differently, as, say, a tasty ingredient or soup. Eliminate the She-Troll and keep all your allies alive. You mean we can't sacrifice anyone to the She-Troll? Alright, if you insist. So it is a puzzle. Like I said, I couldn't even tell you when the last time we had one was. It means we'll have different rules, just one round, and a custom deck. Probably a good thing that we are not using our own usual deck. So let's check it out. What is the deal here? Okay, so yeah, just one round. So here's the She-Troll. If humans hurt troll bad, troll makes strange glowy stick go zap. I love it. I love it. That is amazing. I love it. Lover of elf and onion soup. What happens if we... Do we have that card? It's a multiplayer card as well, so like I might just be thinking of that, but that would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool if we had it and we have some secret solution unlocked by playing it. I thought it might have been one of our trinkets, but perhaps I'm making that up. Let's see. So how is she going to make this thing go zap zap? Damage the lowest units by 3. Repeat this ability until all charges are depleted. Every turn on turn start, increase charge count by 1. Oh. So that's the only way she's going to... She's already passed. And so that means they can't manually use this order. So the only way this is going to zap us is if we hit the She-Troll. And that may be a good thing, that may be a bad thing. Remember, we can't lose any of our allies, but... Oh, yeah. We might have some people who do some things if they get destroyed, like light infantry would damage random enemy by 5, which would be a nice way to deal damage to the She-Troll, but I don't think we're allowed to do that, because we need to keep all of our allies alive. I mean, we're spawning them in, so they're not in our starting deck, so maybe it's an exception, but probably not. So, I mean, do we have anything that benefits from getting hit, even if it doesn't necessarily get killed? Well, these Grey Riders do have 3 armor, so they could take a hit. That makes me suspicious that perhaps that might be play here, but let's actually look at what we have. So the Grey Riders, we had these for, I think, 1 story mission, but that was about it. After a different ally is played from hand or moves the other row, move next to it and boost it by 1. Huh. Okay. Wait, do we just need to outscore? Do we actually need to... We need to eliminate the She-Troll. Where's our damage coming from? You don't have it. You spawn in units. You can give orders. I mean, it's all the Wagenburg, right? So... So, usually that means you play the Wagenburg first. Because the Wagenburg gains armor whenever we play another unit, and then we deal damage based on how much armor we have. The thing is, it loses all armor when it does that, and it would be our lowest powered unit, which means that if we do that, and we are not able to immediately take out the She-Troll, then suddenly Scepter of Storms hits Wagenburg, destroys it, because that's just enough damage to do so, and then we lose. So how do we avoid that? By either taking it out in one fell swoop, which feels impossible. I mean, unless we're actually allowed to sacrifice the light infantry because they're not in our starting deck, they get spawned in. I doubt it, but maybe that's what we try here. Let's just test that theory. So, then we do War Wagon. Technically speaking, we can play it in the range row and then use the light infantry order ability to move into that row, but I don't really think that helps us when we can only do that once and reset it with Reynard, but that's... Well, okay, no, you play him in the same row as the Wagenberg. Use Wagenberg ability to deal damage. In doing so, will destroy the light infantry. Yeah, it destroys the light infantry, so it doesn't matter if you move them into the range row with their order ability and then move them back with Reynard. They're still going to be dead. Unless you do this.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
You don't use this yet. You do this. You don't use them yet. You move them out. Then you play Reynard.
Discipline shall bring us victory.
Because then you can move them back in. So at this rate, we're basically just trying to deal enough damage in one fell swoop with Wagenberg. I don't think it's going to be enough because we have almost filled this entire row. We only have enough room for one more of these guys, and it's definitely not enough damage. So I imagine it's probably going to mean that we're going Wagenberg once, then we're going to have to use Reynard to reset the Wagenberg in addition to maybe these light infantry too. Is there a... Damage the lowest units by 3. It's not like it's in a specific row, so dodging with the light infantry... I think, if anything, light infantry getting hit might be what we need to have happen, so let's see what happens here. If we hit the Sheet Roll, she will not immediately get destroyed, which means she will activate the Scepter of Storms and damage these light infantry, and perhaps we're allowed to have them die because they weren't in our starting deck. Perhaps not. We're gonna see. What happens? We definitely lose. That was a little hard to tell, though, to be honest with you. The Wagenberg obviously died, but we didn't see the defeat screen until a whole bunch of other stuff had happened. That Storm Scepter had numerous charges, so it destroyed all the light infantry, but then it soon thereafter destroyed the Wagenberg as well. For a second I thought we just didn't have Wagenberg. I was like, excuse me, how are we supposed to do it without that? How do you get additional charges? Every turn on turn start. Increase charge count. Yeah. I don't know. How do we avoid getting it destroyed? So, like, what we can do is, you know, if you do this, and now this is a simpler test, but again, looking to hit the Sheet Roll, obviously not going to be enough damage to take her out, but I want to see, again, I would, oh, well, no, we're going to lose the armor. So first charge is going to destroy these guys, second charge is still going to destroy Wagenberg. So no matter what we do, Wagenberg is going to get destroyed by subsequent charges of Scepter of Storms. How the heck do we make it work then? We can't destroy the Scepter of Storms with one round of Wagenberg. That does not work. We have another way of sacrificing the light because what I'm wondering is, can we sacrifice the light infantry without sacrificing the Wagenberg? Because we might actually be allowed to do that, even if we aren't allowed to sacrifice the Wagenberg. But we can't sacrifice light infantry without sacrificing the Wagenburg, because the Scepter is always going to have enough charges to take them, at least take out Wagenburg and the light infantry. Wait. Does need to be an enemy row? Okay, I was getting galaxy brain here for a second, wondering, do you go Wagenburg and set up your light infantry in a totally different row? Use Wagenburg to destroy your light infantry. Again, maybe you're allowed to do that. That's still very theoretical and probably is not the case. But maybe if that was the case, you could at least destroy the light infantry, deal all the damage to the siege roll with them, and not destroy the Wagenburg in the process. But how the heck? Oh, yeah, no, it's Grey Rider is the key. That's what we're missing. After a different ally is played from hand or moved to the other row, move next to it and boost it by 1. This is our way of getting additional cards to move into the same row as the Wagenburg. Okay. Don't yet know what the exact order of operations is going to be, but these guys, we were not paying enough attention to them. So it's going to be a combination of the Grey Riders and the War Wagons that are going to be key here. So how are we going to have enough space, though? We're going to actually start to run out of space. Let's see, this is going to be 3 units if you include the 2 light infantry. So that's Wagenburg plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 8, 9. 9 is the maximum number in a row. So if we play Reynard in the range row at the end, then that is still something we can make work. Okay, I think that's what we go for. So, do you need to go first? Or do you need to go first? Does it matter when we play you? We need enough time for you to use your order abilities a few turns. So yeah, I think it's you.
Got any victuals? Hungry like a wolf, I am.
Then I think it's you.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Then we technically play you. We play you here.
I live to serve you.
We move. You're only gonna move once. If we move this next guy, then it's not gonna affect you. Oh, hold on. This is more complex than I was giving it credit for being. If we do
Without
that
hesitation.
and that. Different allies played from hand or move to the other row. Move next to it. Boost it by 1. Oh. Oh, hold on. And is this a way to potentially avoid having things like Wagenburg or light infantry get destroyed, even? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Okay, let's just try this. Again, these guys aren't going to move when we move those light infantry because we've already moved to this range row. So we might have missed out a little bit with that stuff. But now the idea is we are not going to have enough room for Reynard in the melee row. Because when we do this,
We must trust each other.
all these guys are going to move, and in doing so, they're going to bring the Grey Riders with them. Is that enough? I don't think it's going to be, because, yeah, I think we need a little more back and forth here to get the Grey Riders hopping into this melee row to charge up the Wagenburg, rather than trying to do it all at once, because it just doesn't really work that way, since these light infantry, or since the Grey Riders only move once when you move a single light infantry, and then the second one that spawns in the War Wagon doesn't really help. So, I mean, again, we can do this, but it's not going to be sufficient. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're on our way. Let's see. I think it's still got to be War Wagon first, right? Maximize the amount of armor on it. So, how do we get more creative with the Grey Rider? Do we even play that next? Or we played in a different... I already forgot what row we played in. I think we initiated with it in the melee row. What if we go melee row after a different allied unit is played from hand? Move to other row. What if we go you melee row? Use War Wagon in the range row. That should move the Grey Rider, I think. That way, every time we move one of the individual light infantry that spawned in for the War Wagons, Grey Rider will move out this way. I think that might be the play.
As you command.
You do this. You do this. I think you might need to stagger the Grey Riders.
You can try to win them all.
That moves them back. Okay. Obviously, we're not getting the additional armor initially from this War Wagon, so short term it's a little bit worse, but we're hoping to have this Grey Rider move back and forth a lot more. That's the plan. So then I think you play this other Grey Rider, again in the range row.
At once.
It does not... Yeah, I wasn't sure if a different ally meant quite literally a card that is not called Grey Rider, or if it meant any other card in your hand. But now if we do this, that moves you over. Okay. So now we do this.
Can't take it anymore.
That moves both of you back. Sure. Then we move you. And you. Oh, did we want to do... I think we wanted to do that. Then Raynor, do we have enough room for you in the melee row? We should. We should.
Her Majesty knows
Except...
what she's doing.
No, we didn't want to do that. Did we want it? We might have wanted to do that. Because, although that isn't going to move the Grey Riders, this will. And we won't be able to move them back in. So that doesn't really help us. Still feel like we're getting closer. But we obviously are not there yet. Close, but no cigar. It's gotta be War Wagon, or rather Wagenberg first. I feel like we were definitely onto something with the Grey Riders hopping back and forth. The exact timing of that, we might be able to do better, though. So, I think it's still Grey Rider melee row.
As you command.
And then War Wagon range row. I think our start was really good.
You won't.
But it might be starting here where we need to change things. Like, did we go light infantry? What if we go light infantry 1? That moves you. Then we go Grey Rider. Oh, but Grey Rider doesn't move the Grey Rider, right? We go. I was gonna say you play Grey Rider here, move this one back in, but that doesn't work. Would still do this. This might be exactly what we did last time. Then I guess you still do that. Then I think you do this in the range row. This is actually a tough one. What if we move both of them in? That'll give us 2 more armor. Then we play... Where would we want Grey Rider in that case? Or do we even want to go Raynor to slightly early? Ooh. I think you do this. I think you do go that route. Now it's the question of, like, if you go Raynor, you want to play him in the melee row because he's not moving. So you do that. Then, except if you put him in the range row, then he can move you out. The problem is moving these guys out doesn't really help us. Oh, hold. No, it doesn't. Because if we play Raynor, even if we play Raynor in the range row, it moves you out here, but then that means this movement doesn't matter with Raynor. Maybe we do actually want to play War Wagons in the melee row. Maybe we were kind of overthinking that. Maybe? Let's go. Yes, we do. I don't think we have it. Still don't think we have it. So yeah, I mean, either way, we're just not benefiting from the Grey Riders on this last turn of movement. I think that's a problem. Yeah.
Naturally.
I think that's a problem. This is, I'm
We
pretty
must
sure,
trust each
if
other.
not exactly what we did last time, it's very close to what we did last time. Yeah, because here, this movement, I mean, sure, it gives us boost, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't increase our damage at all. I think we just need to go War Wagons melee row after all. Let's give it one more shot here. It's, although we have not succeeded yet, it doesn't feel like a lost cause. Certainly not in comparison to some other matches that we've done in the past. Some other puzzles where at times it felt like I just had no idea. This one, it feels like we're making progress. Or at the very least, if we're not getting closer, we're at least testing out some important things. So I do think we want to go War Wagons melee row. Question then becomes order of operations. Do we go War Wagons first, or do we go Grey Riders first? Because if we play Grey Riders initially, then we'd like to play them starting off in the melee row, except if we're going to play the War Wagons in the melee row, then that means the Grey Rider is not going to move, and also it doesn't really matter. So that leads me to believe at least the first one here is going to be
Try to win them all.
War Wagon melee row. So then we could do... Do we want... We want to stagger War Wagons? Actually, one melee row, one range row? So if we go here with the Grey Rider, we'd probably go melee row, have it move out with one light infantry, and then... What if? What if we do this?
Naturally.
Don't use this yet. Other Grey Rider.
Yes.
Then we go stagger our War Wagons a bit. And basically,
Can't take it anymore.
that sends both these guys into this row. Now what we do is we just go seesaw back and forth with all these guys. So we move you into the melee row like this. Then we move you into the range row like this. I think we're onto something here. Move you back to the melee row like this. Move you into the range row like this. And then we use Raynor. I think we have room in the melee row. Might as well give ourselves the extra armor from that. And that does move these guys once again. Then that means we want to move you back into the range row. Back into the melee row. Then back into the range row. Then back into melee row. And that's 20. So I assume if we take out the She-Troll in one hit, then that means Scepter of Storms just does not trigger. And there we have it. That one was really cool. I like that a lot. Tricky, but like I said, it never felt like it was out of reach. It always felt like we had enough, just enough information to get the job done. And I suppose fitting in that case that we get the Scepter of Storms. This card has been added to our army and can be found in the command tent. Let's check it out. Well, actually, let's loot first, because we might get some good stuffs here. Ooh, this no good. Hole in Bridgie now. When Bridgie bad, Umans no go. No go on Bridgie. No pay shinies. No pay shinies. Umans only good for soupy soup. Splashy splashy. Truer words have never been spoken. But let's take a quick look at what we just acquired in our deck. Because here it is, the Scepter of Storms. So it looks like it is a trinket, much like... Or no, actually. No, it's an artifact. We can switch it with Manticore Trophy, which has been... Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, now the icons, which differ between multiplayer and Thronebreaker, are throwing for a bit of a loop. That's an artifact symbol. That is a stratagem symbol. So, that does not exist in multiplayer, but... Okay, so it's the artifact slash stratagem symbol. So that means, yes, we would be replacing the Manticore Trophy in that case. This one is dealing 1 to 2 damage to opposing units whenever they get played. So what does the Scepter of Storms do? Damage the lowest enemy unit by 2 with its order ability. Repeat until charges are depleted. Every turn on turn start, increase charge count by 1. On round end, set charges to 0. Wait, what? On round end. Okay, so not on turn end. I was like, how is this supposed to work if you can only do it on turn 1 and you have no time to build up the charges? I wish that said lowest enemy units with the in parentheses, because that would be absolutely fantastic against some of the decks that we've been, or at least the most recent encounter that we were struggling against a bit. Repeat until charges are depleted. Every turn and turn start, increase charge count by 1. I mean, that still could add up to be a whole lot of damage. It's technically, it's very similar, in truth, to the Manticore Trophy. Manticore Trophy hits every unit when it gets played, whereas this waits and then does all that damage at once. This specifically targets the lowest units, whereas this just targets whatever gets played. However, the damage does range from 1 to 2, whereas this one is always 2. So sometimes you might get a little bit of overkill damage here with Scepter of Storms if the lowest unit is on an automatic power, but it should theoretically add up to a little more damage. So for that reason, I think we do want to, swap it in. I think it is, in many situations, just going to be a slightly better Manticore Trophy. Because this is not, it has given us, or lowered our opponent's score a little bit, but the 1 to 2 damage is never enough to actually remove an important opposing card, whereas this could potentially remove multiple. And I think that could provide significantly more value for actually completely getting rid of a card, or 2 or 3 even, depending on how long we wait to use it. So that, I think, is a very nice addition. And that is dramatic music as well, that little flare. But with that being said, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here, because we have now made our way out of Moulderwood. We've completed our first puzzle outside Moulderwood, and, some things never change. The world is still on fire. Eddern, at least, is certainly still on fire. But we're picking up some loots, and means that we should be in better shape for when we do ultimately decide to head back over here, and also for when we press forward into the rest of this northern part of the area. So with all that being said, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.